The UFC is coming off of a record-breaking 17 straight weeks of consecutive events. They are taking a week off this weekend, so I thought we would look back at September and see which underdogs barked the loudest. This was a month where the UFC went from Paris, France to Sydney, Australia, and then ended their last two weekends in Las Vegas. There were a total of 42 underdogs that were trying to pull off the upset, and only 9 of them came through for a 21% hit rate. Let's go over the 5 that came through for the dog hunters.
Number 5.
ChpE Mariscal made his UFC debut earlier this year in June, where he pulled off a short notice upset over Trevor Peek. That was a fight of the night performance, which inevitably set him up for this next shot less than 2.5 months later against Jack Jenkins in Jenkins' backyard. After a solid first round from Jack Jenkins, where all 3 judges scored that first round in his favor, we saw ChpE Mariscal utilize his grinding approach up against the cage, which set up a beautiful judo throw, which ultimately ended in disaster for Jack Jenkins as he broke his arm, allowing ChpE Mariscal to pick up his victory and cash as a plus 170 underdog.
Number 3.
Yes, you heard right. Number 3, because there are 2 people that cashed as plus 200 underdogs. Coming into this matchup, it was really believed that Kyle Nelson was going to be cut from the UFC this year, considering he came into 2023 with an 0-2 run. Luckily, a draw against Doo Ho Choi saved his career, and he was able to pull off a big upset as a plus 230 underdog against Blake Bilder earlier this year. And he kept those underdog ways going as he chipped away at Fernando Padilla over 15 minutes and got his hand raised, cashing as a plus 200 underdog. Favorites ended up dominating Noche UFC, but Kyle Nelson was the lone underdog to pull off the upset. The other plus 200 underdog to cash in September was debuting 34-year-old Montserrat Rendon, as she went out there and had a very spirited effort against Tamiris Vidal, but it was a very close fight that went to a split decision, and she was able to get her hand raised.
Number 2.
UFC Vegas 79 came through as the biggest underdog card of September, as 5 of the 11 underdogs ended up pulling off the upset, the biggest of which came in the form of Cody Brundage, who was looking to avoid a 4-fight losing streak going into this matchup, but luckily an ill-advised elbow to the back of the head caused his fight with Jacob Malkoun to be ruled a disqualification, allowing Cody Brundage to get his hand raised, albeit begrudgingly.
Number 1.
Saturday, September 9th looked like it was going to be another routine title defense for Israel Adesanya. He was fresh off of his victory over Alex Pereira, putting that rivalry to rest. Given the injury that was suffered by Dricus du Plessis and Adesanya's insistence on fighting this September card due to it taking place in Australia, he accepted Sean Strickland relatively on short notice so that he can make the date. The fan favorite Sean Strickland had different plans that night as he pressured the champion, and after dropping him in the first round, causing the MMA world to topple on its head, he went out there and had another solid 4 rounds. It was very humanizing to see Sean Strickland in utter disbelief when the title was wrapped around his waist, but that is why we love the sport of mixed martial arts. If you enjoy content such as this, please hit that like and subscribe below, drop a comment, and let me know who you think could pull off the biggest upset in October with the schedule of fights the UFC has coming up.